Hi, I'm Alyse Edwards and I'm exploring the beautiful town of Alacati. Located on Turkey's west coast, Alacati is a stunning town steeped in history. And with its vibrant culture, it certainly lives up to its reputation of being a trendy town. In the last episode, I toured the local bazaar and ate my weight in fresh produce, while also trying desperately to keep my purse closed. Then I explored the town's extravagant art scene, trying my hand at pottery and glassworking, and witnessing the most lifelike baby dolls you'll ever see.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I can hold it.
In this episode, I'm going to venture to the outskirts of the town to see what else is on offer. I've been staying at Hotel Villa Fora, which has been wonderful, and I heard that the next stop, the Cheatham Hotel, will be equally as special.
So they've given me the honeymoon suite. No mister here at the moment, but I guess that means more wine for me.
While I've only experienced 2 hotels in Alacati, I must say I'm impressed with the personal touch. The owners are present and eager to make sure you have the best day possible, one of the advantages to boutique hotels. Now that I'm all settled in, it's time to head out for some exploring.
Today we're exploring the village of Ildre. Now, in ancient times, this used to be the village of Eritrea, and there was about 70,000 Greek people living here. Today, there's just 10,000, but it's still extremely popular with tourists. So we're going to go up and look at the old Acropolis, also see some of the ruins and the old theatre. Can't wait. Hi, are you
Oh,
okay?
hell, yeah, you're Alice, right?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Welcome here.
You're a guide for the day.
I'm your guide for the day. So, are you ready to climb up to the Acropolis?
How high is it?
It's really like 150 meters. Not that high for you, probably.
Not that high.
Not that high, because you had a good Turkish breakfast this morning, right?
Oh my gosh, I had a great Turkish breakfast, so...
So you gotta be ready for this.
Yep, feeling energized.
So, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
It's just a short walk through the nearby village of Ildre to get to the Acropolis. It's a journey made all the more special by the eye-catching buildings, amazing views and peaceful atmosphere. In no time, we approach the Acropolis, and the first thing to see, located at the base of the hill, are the ruins of the Greek theatre.
So how did they construct the theatre?
Actually, it's good to know. It's an interesting fact for the Greeks. Greeks, those times, didn't know how to construct, how to build a theater on its own without any support. They didn't know that. It's so interesting because they needed to find a hill, slope of hills. So they were taking nature as an advantage and they were building the theaters.
Wow, that's really clever, isn't it? Because
It is.
yeah, whenever you see an old Greek theatre, it's always on a hill.
It was on a hill.
And that's because they didn't know how to build it freestanding.
Afterwards, the Romans did that technology. They could know that, but the Greeks didn't. So on the hills, the theater were built.
And that's why we see theatres like this.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
It is. So, we are in the area where theater games were played. It was an orchestra those times. But those times you weren't supposed to be here, actually.
Me?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that? The reason for that is, for those times, the theater games, the women weren't allowed to enter.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Why weren't the women allowed to enter?
Not only women, actually, also the slaves weren't allowed to enter. It was just some games, some carnival games, I may say, for the men.
That's not fair. And so,
That wasn't fair.
as a woman, could I have been an actress though?
No, you can't.
Not
Actually,
even-
you couldn't. Because in the actors, if the women were needed to play, the men were wearing the women mask and he was playing also.
Wow, they didn't want women so badly that even for the actors, the men would dress up as women to play them rather than let women in.
Yeah, they did that.
Oh, that's not fair at all.
That wasn't fair, unfortunately.
But times have changed, obviously,
Times
since then.
changed, yeah.
And what is it used for today? It's ruins now.
It's
obviously
ruins.
not used as theatre anymore.
No, it's used for like tourism attraction, you know, these days. These ruins is still like magnificent ruins. In the other things like temple we will see in Acropolis or the Agora, you can't find so much ruins. But the theater is the most like prevented one, so it's a good tourist attraction these days.
And it's so peaceful here. I could just sit here all day.
Me as well. But come on, just I want to show you more.
Okay, let's go.
So when we climb up to the Acropolis, the first thing we see is a church, ruins of a church. So
It's beautiful.
it is
And so why was it built up so high?
so high because it's thought that just before the church, the temple was built in this area. And the idea was that the higher you build your temple, your church, the closer to the gods you are. So with this idea, they built the temple and the church in this area.
That makes sense. You'd want to
Yes.
go to church every day with a view like that. It's beautiful.
It is.
Keep going.
Keep going.
As I arrive at the top of the Acropolis, the view is spectacular. Panoramic views of nearby towns, villages, and of course the sea twinkling in the sun make for the perfect moment. And being so far up, I feel like I have the whole world to myself. Simply breathtaking.
Well, I must admit, before this trip, I was feeling a little bit nervous about coming to Turkey, but we're halfway in and I couldn't feel more at ease. The people are just so warm and generous and friendly. The food is absolutely delicious and the climate is just right. I'm feeling so relaxed.
An afternoon sitting by the pool reading a good book is certainly one way to totally relax. But there is so much more to explore here in Alacati, and so I'm venturing out of the town once more to indulge in another one of my favourite activities.
We're about 30 minutes drive outside Alacati in the region of Urla. Now, this is one of the oldest winemaking areas in the whole world, and that's because the Greeks used to live here. However, when they left, the tradition completely disappeared because they took all the skills and knowledge needed to produce wine with them. However, in the past 15 years, it's made a comeback, and we're about to meet one of the couples that started it. Bilge, how long have you been producing wine here?
Oh, it's been about 15 years that we came here, and we planted this winery in 2002, and we got our permits in 2006, so you can say about 10, 11 years we've been doing this.
So what made you want to produce wine in this region?
Oh, this is a very old, ancient region for growing grapes and olives. We have a 5,000-year-old history because the soil is just right for growing grapes.
So what sort of wine do you make now?
We make all the international varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah, and we have Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. So we're walking through this beautiful vineyard, but there's no grapes.
I know. Unfortunately, we all collected them. See, there's a little, the last one. It's a little present for you. They're all turning into wine, and we can go and taste them if you like.
Yeah, let's go taste it.
Oh, great.
The winery here is called Alyse and produces quite a range of red, white and rosé wine. Bilka takes me to her husband Raya, so I get to have a taste.
So what do you think?
I like it. Of course.
Great.
Is it, you just swirled it around in your mouth there, but if I was at a dinner party or something like that drinking wine, would it be, socially acceptable to swish it around in my mouth?
I don't think so. but if you want to enjoy the wine fully, so you might want to just let the little air come into your mouth a little bit.
And taste the acidity in your mouth. You're quite new to wine growing. You started this vineyard with no prior experience about 15 years ago. Has there been some mistakes along the way?
We made some mistakes. We learned from our mistakes, especially in the vineyard. I mean, we believe that wine is made in the vineyard. We have to get the really good quality grape here. And then we have to control it, keep it going without faults. You know what I mean? This is the winemaking process for us.
But I guess it's worth it when you arrive at a final product like this.
Yes, it's worth it.
Sampling these wines is a perfect way to spend an afternoon. Each one has its own unique flavour, and all of them was simply divine.
Okay, let's do this. How's my wine swiveling?
Wonderful.
Is it?
It's getting much better.
It's getting much better.
You might want to be careful because you're wearing white dress.
Yeah, it's a very white dress, so it's very scary. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thank you very much.
How do I say
Welcome.
cheers in Turkish?
Şerefe.
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 I've spent my time so far inland, but now I'm heading to the coast.
Today we're exploring the port town of Cheshmere. Now, for many centuries this has been a really important trading hub because Greece is literally a 30-minute boat ride just across the sea. The area is really famous for its wine, for its olive oil, and also for its thermal springs. So let's go meet our local guide to tell us a little bit more.
One of the main sights to see in Cheshmere is a 500-year-old Ottoman castle, and my guide Fruken is with me to tell me all there is to know.
So why was this place built?
The place is built because it needed a protection for its being a trading center. Well, Cheshmere was a portal which was traded olive oil and wine heavily. So in those times, it also had some serious sea attacks. In order to prevent that, the Sultan of Ottoman Empire has built this castle for the protection on people and over their benefits of trading. So that's why it was built. And soon after the castle was built, the place gained much more importance. People around the world, I might say, come and started living here because this place was always improving its importance. So that's why this castle is really important in the history of Cheshmere, we might say that.
Obviously this is a port area. Greece is just a 30-minute boat ride across the channel here. So was this area constantly under attack?
It had many serious sea attacks actually, especially from the Venetians. Well, non-Ottoman officials notified and built this castle to here. The trading route of the earlier passengers from here had got a delay. So in order to prevent that, actually, they also attacked to these places, and they always try to find new routes for their trading benefits. So that's why it had, we might say again, had serious sea attacks. So, well, not from the Venetians, also Russian government or Russian Civilisations always attacked these shores. I mean, not just these Cheshmere Castle, but all over the Aegean side they were actually attacking, with time to time being.
Gosh, scary existence living in Cheshmere. So after the castle was built, essentially it made Cheshmere a really important place because it acted as the first point of defense.
Cheshmere was already the important place, and with the protection of this castle, it also gained much more importance, and which still is an important place actually. So let me show you around, and we got other things to talk, okay?
Okay, let's go have a look.
Let's this way.
So this is a castle that has seen a lot of action, and it's clearly built for a purpose. As we walk onto the first level, the view is already incredible, and there is still so much more.
So most of the battles fought here were between Ottomans and Russians.
Well, in the 18th century especially, there were major battles between Ottomans and Russians in front of these shores. As you can see, there's two cannonballs. This one was from the admiral of the ship of Spiridov, from Russian Navy, and this one is from the Ottoman Navy's ship. Now, we might need to say that the materials between them is much different. As you can see, this one is in still a good condition, while this one is...
Yeah, you can really see the difference.
Yes.
This one looks like it's really rusted, really deteriorated,
It's
and this
rusted.
one is still in a good condition. So who won in the end? Who conquered these shores? Was it the
Well,
Russians or the Ottomans?
A person called Gazi Hasan Pasha, we have talked about actually, he was the person to claim those lands for Ottoman Navy actually, and he is the person to defeat the Russian army and send them away. That's why he is so important also in the history of Cheshme and this castle.
But these cannonballs aren't in use anymore.
Yeah, well, people who visit this place come and see them, but of course they are not in use today.
So I'll be safe if I'm
Yeah, we are
approaching from
safe.
Greece.
No worries about that, don't worry.
Shall we carry on?
Sure, we can go.
The castle is not just an impressive sight, but also houses a museum filled with artefacts gathered from past centuries, from weaponry and ammunition to simple household items, including an incredible mix of jars and vases that hail from all over Greece. It also has an impressive coin collection.
If we have come here in summertime, you would see actually many turtles traveling up here.
Turtles on top of a castle?
Yes?
Why would you see turtles up here?
Well, I don't know, maybe they've been surviving for thousands of years or hundreds of years.
Real living turtles?
It's possible to see them. Or maybe museum officials come and put them here for people to see.
I can't believe that they made their way up here
Yeah.
into the castle by themselves.
Probably.
And if you're prepared to do some climbing, the view from the top is just phenomenal.
Wow, well that was certainly worth the climb. Check out that view. Thank you so much for showing us the castle.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure for me to traveling with you.
I think I might just stay here all day, soak up
Sure.
this view.
Now it's back to Alacati and time for some delicious food.
There are so many delicious restaurants in Alacati that it can be really difficult to choose which ones to visit. But one of the local chefs has offered to cook for us and show us exactly what goes into the unique flavour in her delicious dishes. Now, Yasmin has agreed to show us one of her famous family recipes. It's a lamb and spinach biryani. She doesn't speak much English, but she's going to show us how she makes it. So at the moment, it looks like she's boiling the spinach in water. Sometimes they say simplicity is best. Oh wow, this is the lamb and it looks like it's already been pre-prepared, but it smells so good. So the lamb is going on top of the spinach, which has already been cooked, into the pan, and there's a flame underneath. Now this is what makes the dish really famous, because this is a special type of yogurt. Biryani means any dish mixed with yogurt, and this is a special type of yogurt that is only produced in springtime and only produced in really limited quantities. Give it some kick, adding all the local spices. Oh, she's adding chilli to the dish. Uh-oh. That's okay, we'll be able to handle it hopefully. Finished?
Finished?
Okay, Yasmin just told me to go sit down because it needs to boil for 10 minutes now, and then we can eat it, so I can't wait. Wow, that is absolutely incredible. It tastes so good. Now, traditionally in Turkey, you would never get an insight into these family recipes because they're age-old and they're secret. But in Alacati, because they're so keen to develop the tourist food trail, they've created this recipe book. Inside, some of these recipes, including the one from Yasmin, and I'm going to take it home and attempt to make some of them in the UK. Now, if you're into surfing, you probably would have heard of Alacati because it's famous for the World Windsurfing Championships, which are held here every year. But it's not just for professionals. Because of the shape of the bay, it means that there's wind all year round. And it's also quite shallow, so I'm told that it's the ideal place for beginners. But I'm about to find out.
The winds on the coast make Alacati a great place to do not just windsurfing, but kite surfing too. In fact, if you need the wind, you should just head on out there. I'll stick to windsurfing today though, and windsurfing champion Barak has volunteered to help me.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Basics first, and Barak demonstrates just how easy it is to get on and get balanced.
Oh my god, you made that look really easy.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from a champion windsurfer, but he's making standing on that board look very easy.
So now it's my turn to stand up on the board, move from one side to the other, and do a 360. It's fun.
Well, having mastered that, I'm apparently ready to go. Well, we'll see.
That's okay.
So do you think I can compete in the World Championships?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's lying. I don't think I'm ready for the World Championships just yet, but it's really fun and I'd like to have another go, so I might keep practicing. Yeah?
More practicing.
Okay.
With the sun starting to set on my time in Alacati, I've time for just one more thing before I go.
Well, it's been a wonderful trip, but of course every holiday needs a little bit of R&R. So I've asked the locals where's the best place to come to do that, and they said here. It's a thermal spring that leads right out onto the ocean. So I'm going to get in and find out what all the fuss is about.
This area is known as Ilika and gets its name from the geothermal springs. The water is hot closest to the rock and reportedly has healing properties, and you can jump in all year round.
Well, this is just heaven and I think it deserves my full attention, so for now I'm going to relax and I'll see you next time.